Later you get into Argentina is absolutely nuts. Fred and I are pretty accustomed to traveling, mostly because I come from Australia, and before I married Fred, I was accustomed to traveling because my father worked for an airline in Australia, and we got traveling for cheap. I love to get in amongst people and just shoot. I just had so much fun doing that. Since we've been married, I've traveled back and forth to Australia a few times, and traveling a long distance is no big deal for us. But, so many trips to Australia gets a bit old, even though it's family. So this year I wanted to do something completely different. It was his birthday, and we had talked about very often going down and skiing in South America. The night before his birthday, I didn't have anything for him. And I said, I've got to do this now. I'm going to book this tonight, because if I don't do it now, there's a big possibility we may not get it done this season. The kids looked at me and said, well, are we going? I said, nope, sorry, not this time. What made Chile more special than some of our other trips this year? We went to Australia this year, which is just going home for me. We also went out to Colorado, which is where we both lived, where we originally met, and Wyoming. We stayed with a friend who invited us, so it was cheap. So, but Chile, first of all, neither of us have ever been to South America. And secondly, the place that we chose, Portillo, is renowned amongst skiers for being a very special place, and we didn't really know why. Well, first I tried to book it for 4 days and discovered you can't book Portillo for 4 days. You have to book it for 7. You're in on a Saturday and then out on a Saturday.
And here we are, through the valley.
But the thing that made it really special was the hotel. It's not just a hotel, it's an experience. And I think the hotel and the fact that we went into Argentina because we were so close to Argentina were the things that made this trip so special. And of course, going to a continent you've never been to before is what makes it stand out from the other trips of the year. Because it's a ski area, and it's not a day ski area, you get people coming in from all over the world. We didn't meet many of those people, but the people in the hotel that I enjoyed were the wait staff, because they were, native Chilean people who didn't speak much English, and it was enjoyable interacting with them. But I think the most enjoyment I had was the day that we went over to Argentina, and I ended up in a place that has a national monument that's a natural feature. And nearby were a lot of the Andean Incan people selling their wares. And they were just very, very salt-of-the-earth people with just, some things were special and other things were a bit ho-hum, but they were the people of the Andes. I think it's a great idea to research some books. If you enjoy reading books, not necessarily hardcore travel books, but something with a story. The other tip would be, of course, to go and buy a little phrase book. But you need to know, to make visiting foreign countries interesting, I think you really need to know a little bit about their history.
Okay, last day. We haven't skied this all week.
And I've always personally found it much more enjoyable to learn about history by reading historical fiction novels, because I just don't like plain hardcore history books. So if you know anything about the history of a country, it's so much more interesting. Beautiful. Another beautiful day in paradise.